What's up? Welcome to episode 16. I'm going to give a couple quick recommendations. As we've all been cooped up, we've all probably been watching way too much TV, but hopefully you've been reading some books. And that's the first thing I want to do is recommend a book, Dracula. Now, this is a copy from 1970. This is 50 years old, this book. And it shows it. It is falling apart. It is just a disaster. This was my family's copy that I inherited, and one of the few books that I've read multiple times. Not only introduced the character of Dracula and solidified a lot of the concepts of vampires, but also is told in journal entries and letters and things like that. So it has a unique form for the story. So now it is written in the late 1800s. It's Victorian, so you're going to get a lot of somewhat problematic depiction of women, but only in their thoughts as far as what women are supposed to be versus what men are supposed to be. At the same time, the women characters in this are actually pretty fantastic and have a huge part in what goes on and in helping to defeat Dracula. I assume that's not a spoiler. The other book I wanted to recommend is Sherlock Holmes. Now, he has many books. This one is a compilation, but you can find his stories in one collected volume or just individual small books. And actually, my dad was a huge Sherlock Holmes fan growing up. And so I learned to appreciate those stories from his enthusiasm. And one of the things that's just very, very super cool is Sherlock Holmes' deduction and logic. Obviously, that's what he's known for. But when you read the stories and kind of hear from his end how he puts all these things together, it is pretty great. So I highly recommend that to you. Now, if you are wondering the connection between these, I also want to recommend two TV series, and that is Dracula and Sherlock, both of which are on Netflix. And you have Mark Gatiss and Stephen Moffat, who were the creators and writers of both things. Now, Sherlock came out, I think, in 2010. That took the idea of Sherlock Holmes and Watson and brought it to contemporary times, cell phones, computers, internet, the whole thing. And they do a fantastic job with it. And what I think is so great about it is they definitely have a reverence for the original material. And so they mess with it as far as bringing it into the future, but they don't mess with it so much that you can't tell that it's Sherlock Holmes. So it's great to have a different take on some classic stories, remixing some of these things. And of course, Benedict Cumberbatch, everybody knows him right now. Martin Freeman, everybody knows. They do a fantastic job. The casting is great. The stories are great. And they're basically presented as almost mini movies. Each season is maybe like 3 episodes of about an hour and a half each. And they're very, very cool and highly recommended. Now, the other tie is that that same duo actually did a remake of Dracula. In a similar way, updating the story and putting little twists on it while still at the same time being very reverential to the original. It was fascinating to me. I hadn't read the book in a number of years. I watched the series and immediately afterwards was inspired to go reread it. And upon rereading it, just catching a little name here and there, a little detail, and how in the series they sort of bring all that stuff together. And again, pay homage to the original book while making it something new and unique that could stand on its own. Just a really, really well done job on that. So I highly recommend both the books and the 2 TV series. The Dracula is just 3 episodes, but similar to Sherlock, at about an hour and a half each. So you're kind of like getting 3 mini movies. And some recommendations. If you have any recommendations that you might have from just being cooped up, TV shows, books, music, whatever, comment below and we'll start the conversation going and share some love and keep us all entertained during this time. And by the way, speaking of entertained, Ball in the House is working on some music, trying to figure out how to record since we can't get together. So we hope to have something for you all soon. And of course, as soon as we have it, we will post it. So we'll see you next time.